Hey everyone, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So today I'm going to show you how I've made this card, which I made during a Facebook Live. I've actually done a few different variations of this spring style. So I've created this kind of internal spring and I've popped it into all different size cards, and I will link up the spring playlist, I guess. I'll make it up. I'm not sure if I've got it yet. So this is a DL size. So that will go into your DL size envelope. But I've got 5x7, 6x6, and I've got different kind of variations as well, so check it out because they're really fun cards and they're dead easy to make. This is a hexagon shape style, and then I've created this fun little Christmas scene here using some of the characters from my magazine kit, but you can use anything on this, so you know, see what you got in your stash. So let's get started. So I've used supplies from this magazine here. So this is my very first Made to Surprise magazine. This is volume 1. There are still some floating around in the shops. So, you know, if you're out doing your grocery shopping, you may find one. And that's what I've used, like I said, to decorate this one. Loads inside this one, heaps of inspiration. And I will share the video of that magazine kind of unboxing up here so you can have a little look. For the back of the card, so this whole section here, you'll want a piece of 9.5 by 4, and along the 9.5 side you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 2.5, 6.5 and 8.5, and then along the 4-inch side you're going to score at 2, but just to the first score line, and then flip the card and again 2 just to the first score line. That's just a cut line. Okay, you'll then want 3 pieces of 2 by 4.5, and that's to make these springs. So you'll see here I've got 3 of them. So along the 4.5 side you're going to score at 1, 1.5, 2, and then 3, 3.5 and 4. I've then got this piece here which is for the very front, and this is 8 by 2.5. Okay, now my one on here is 8 by 2, so if you want to do it straight, cut it to 8 by 2, but I've done 2.5 because I also want to create a kind of rolling hill effect on the front panel as well, so I want to change that one up slightly. Along the 8-inch side you're going to score at 2 and 6. Okay, if you want to do it how I'm going to do it with the little rolling hills, I've also just put a little marker at 1/2 inch at both ends there. Okay, that's just where I'm going to start my kind of curve and then cut it all the way along. And that's what I've done with these 2 pieces. So you'll see you've got your large kind of section here. If I go underneath, you see that larger one here, and then the shorter one. So this one is 2.5 by 6 3/4, and then 2.5 by 4.5. And again, you'll see I've just cut a curve into it, but you'll see me do that on that other piece in a minute. But everybody's scene's going to be different. If you don't want to create a scene like this, or you just want these straight, you can have them quite, you know, kind of low. I'd always make sure they're below the front panel, and then you just build up everything on top. You know, people are going to have different characters and things like that they're going to be using. I'll just go through the mats and layers here. So for this inside one here, I've got a piece of 3 3/4 squared, and then the pattern paper is 3.5 squared. And then this one is for the backs, it's the same size again, 3 3/4 squared and 3.5. And then these are going to go on my side panels here. And these are 1 3/4 by 3 5/8. Okay, and we'll go through the cutting of those in a moment. If you want to do these 3 panels here, I'm not going to have that on this one because, like I said, I'm changing it up ever so slightly, but I will just give you the measurements. You'll want 2 pieces of 1 3/4 squared for each end, and then this middle panel is 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, if you want to see how I made this one, I'll link it below. Okay, so we'll make up the spring. So you will have a 1-inch section. You want that on the left, and then the 1/2 inch, you'll have 3 1/2-inch pieces together there. Have that on the right. You're going to create a mountain, a valley, mountain fold. So you'll see now that you've got your 1-inch piece, you should have 2 1/2-inch pieces and then another 1-inch, and then do another mountain, valley, mountain. So what you will have is a 1-inch, well, a 1/2-inch piece that will then go underneath that 1-inch piece, and that will join them together. So I'm just running my glue down that one there, and then just sticking that one over the top. Now you don't want to burnish these folds, just fold them like that. You want there to be that spring. Okay, and then you want the largest piece here. You would have scored just down to the first score line. Just cut down both of those like so. Fold and burnish the score lines like so. Okay, and then we're going to cut, I'm going to use my longer scissors, across and up to that corner there, but keep that tab because that's how you're going to attach the front piece. Again, I'm just going to fold that one across there and just cut across. If you want to use your trimmer, you can do, but it's pretty easy to do just with your scissors there. Before I stick down the front, I'm going to stick down my pattern paper. So that's going to go inside here. And then these ones here. And what you can do is take the piece that you've just cut off there and just join it like so. Don't worry if it comes off the edge there, but it will give you the angle that you will need to cut. And then I'm just going to take my pencil, draw across there. Cut that off, and now you'll have the perfect layer there. And then again, just make sure you get your angles right, but just line the point up with where you need the point there. In fact, I'll just use my scissors for this one and then just cut along there. Again, I've got that perfect layer. I'm just going to stick those down. Then with this one, if yours is already 2 inches wide, then you can just add your glue to these 2 tabs here and stick it down. It will go right across. You see there, it sticks right across. But I've got these little markers here. So if you want to do similar to me, what I'm going to do is just start, and I'm doing this freehand. If you've maybe got a die that you can use that will create a similar effect, then use that. I'm just going to cut along there. I don't want to go too far down. And kind of up, and then as I come down, I'm joining that other marker just there. So now I've got the same kind of rolling heels as I've got for my middle pieces. Just fold and burnish. You might be stamping your sentiment on the front. I'd do that now before you stick it down, but that's going to go on there, and then I'm going to keep the front plain white, and I'm going to have my sentiment in the middle there. I think that'll look quite sweet. So I'm just going to add my glue just down here and here, and just make sure it all lays flat, and that way you know that's going to go in your envelope like so. Okay, so you see now you've got your hexagon shape there. Then what's going to happen is these are going to go inside. Obviously I've widened it. It will stretch open as wide as these kind of springs allow, which is going to be around that kind of width. Okay, but in between these you're going to stick these pieces here. So I'm going to add my glue to one of the sides here, and I'm going to stick this down the bottom and in the middle like so. Again, don't push it too much because you don't want to lose the spring. You don't want to, like I said, burnish those score lines. So that's the middle. The longest ones are going in the middle. The shorter one's going to go at the back. So you just see a little bit of it there. So I'm just going to add my glue there and just sit that one in the middle like so. It probably will stand up now on its own. You're then going to add another spring at the back and then a spring at the front. And just keep them all lined up with each other, because this will also help the card stand, even though you can see it does on its own anyway. And again, some glue on that one, and then stick it over that one there. Okay, let them all dry. And then I'm going to add glue to the front and to the back. And then you just kind of want to squash them down, pop them inside. And then when it's all flush with the bottom, just go to close it, just so they can stick. And you'll see now how far it wants to open. But you can see it's all nice and flush with the bottom there. Again, I'm not really squeezing it, but can you see, just get that nice detail poking through there, like so. If you want to bring this down even shorter, just reduce this. This could be 1.5 rather than 2. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to have my big sentiment there, and then I've got all my characters who I'm going to build up, as long as they're all below the back there. If I go higher, then I'll just need to make a bigger envelope. I'm going to have the bunnies either side here. I'm going to pop that up on some foam, and then I'm going to finish it with the snow detail there that you can see. Okay, and then I'm going to use my quick grab glue, and I'm going to use the glamour dust. You could also use the crystal ice, but it was the glamour dust that I used there, and I just thought it gave it a nice shine. So I'm just going to run my glue along the top here. I mean, if you want to do it before you stick everything down, then I'd do it and then leave it for a couple of hours, because this is going to take a bit longer to dry now. And then I'm just going to dump my glue all over that one, tap off the excess. You see, you get that lovely snow effect. And then I'm going to do the same just in here, all along there. And then I think this time I might do some on the tops of the, just some of it on the actual characters there. I mean, it doesn't matter how it kind of goes on, because it's snow, it lands everywhere. So just all along in there, around there. Let's do a little bit just up on his head there as well, just so they all kind of have a bit of sparkle on them. And then again, I think when you've got thick bits of glue, it looks good with the snow on it. So, you know, don't be afraid to go a bit over the top with the glue. I actually think it looks good. And there you go, you can see how that looks. I think it looks really, really sweet. Okay, and there's the finished card. Just need to give that a good time to dry now, but you can see I've just added some of the glaze on their eyes. It's a little bit cloudy, but that will dry nice and clear. You've got your space on the back there to be able to write your message, and that will all fold down like this one does here, and that will go into a DL sized envelope or box envelope. So I hope you've enjoyed this card style that I've shared with you today. As always, thank you for watching. I'll have the other tutorials that I briefly mentioned popping up now, so you might want to watch those next, and the playlist would have come up in the video as well. And if you've enjoyed today and you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell, and that way you won't miss out on any future videos. See you all again soon. Bye.